Hello, everyone. My name is Chelsea Bellinger. I'm an academic success coach in the Tomás Rivera Center, and this is our Expert Learner Series workshop on how to manage stress. Now, before I begin, I will be recording this workshop, so if you're interested in obtaining the link, you can certainly email us and request us for the link. Also, if you have a question, please feel free to virtually raise your hand. There's an icon below the slide, so feel free to raise your hand virtually. You can also include any comments in the chat section, and I do ask that you turn off your microphone just so we don't get any outside noise. So throughout the workshop, if you have a question or a concern, please feel free to chime in. So we'll go ahead and begin. So like I mentioned, this is a workshop really focusing on how to manage stress. So before we begin, using the chat section and using an emoji, describe how you're feeling right now as we transition into digital learning and entering into final exam season. So I'll give you a moment to do that. All right, so we see that some of you may be feeling anxious, a little stressed, so this should be the perfect workshop for you. So to begin, so we'll be talking about stress management in terms of understanding it, identifying it, and ways in which we can resolve it. So on this whiteboard, go ahead and shout out some ideas that you use to mitigate the stress that you're experiencing. For me, I thoroughly enjoy cooking, baking in particular. So baking/cooking. I know others thoroughly enjoy working out, going outside, perhaps walking your dog. Also, Netflix is another big, a popular example to relieving stress. So Netflix, any others that you can think of? Okay, hanging out with friends. So maybe Zooming your friends, if you will, during this time of social distancing. Excellent. So thank you for sharing some of those ideas. So it's important to understand that stress is very much a normal part of life. The body is designed to experience stress, and that we also need to know how to react to it. So all of us experience stress at one point in our lives, but it's really up to us how we react to it. And also know that there are negative stress triggers as well as positive stress triggers. Then when the negative stress triggers become continuous, that's a problem. Now, an example of the positive stress triggers would be a job that you were offered, a job that you were really wanting and you offered it, and the kind of after effect of learning your role in this new job and your new responsibilities could bring about some positive stress triggers. So really being able to distinguish the difference between the two is important here. All right, so we see here identifying the stress and those triggers and the signals as well. So looking at how identifying stress could be cognitively related, physically related, or behaviorally related. And certainly there's some symptoms to the cognitive component of this. So stress leads to perhaps memory loss or just a distraction in concentration. So that's the cognitive component here with the human brain. If we move over to what appears to be image of the human body, we see that stress also has physical symptoms as well, such as dizziness, sleepiness, nausea, and so forth. So being able to recognize those physical triggers. And then finally, behavioral triggers that also contribute to stress. So that could be a change in appetite or your sleeping pattern. So really ensuring that you're getting enough sleep to alleviate those behavioral symptoms related to stress. All right, so please go ahead and sign into this workshop by scanning the QR code with your phone. If you're on a different device, you can certainly type in the URL and just simply sign in. I am the presenter, Chelsea Bellinger, and when you sign in, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the chat section so I know that you're done. So all you have to do is just sign in and then wait to complete the evaluation at the end of the presentation today. Thanks. All right, so moving right along to resolving stress or overcoming the stressors you may experience. So, really surrounding yourself with positive people is one kind of way to resolve the stress, but also even learning to say no. So, let's say you're preparing for your final exams and you need to study, and your friends invite you to a Zoom chat. It's important that you learn to say no in certain instances to alleviate stress. Because if you go and hang out with your friends, even though you should be studying for your test, that could contribute to some stress and worry about your performance on the exam. So, really being able to say no when needed. Another way to overcome a stressor is really creating a to-do list, whether it's the night before or the morning of a very busy day, writing out or listing out responsibilities that you need to have done on this particular day. And so this allows you to really get those tasks done while avoiding procrastinating, because procrastination can lead to stress. And so this list really holds you accountable to get what you need to get done for the day, whether it's school related or work related or whatever it may be. So really considering creating a to-do list to mitigate that stress. All right, so continuing on with resolving stress. Now, there may be instances where you need to alter the stress, and ways of doing this is reaching out to a friend or a loved one or somebody that you trust, maybe a colleague, and just kind of expressing how you're feeling during this unique time. You know, we're all in this unique period right now where we're kind of confined to our homes, and students are experiencing an online way of learning that maybe they haven't done ever before. And so really being able to talk to somebody about how you're feeling is really important, and an important way to kind of alter the stressor you may be experiencing. In addition to that, know that the UTSA counseling services are still up and running, and that they are scheduling appointments that are virtual. So students can call this 24-hour phone number, and when you call it, select number 3 to speak with a counselor. And so they are holding remote appointments. And so if this is something that may interest you during this unique time that we're in, just know that this resource is here for you. All right. So adapting to the stressor is another way of resolving the stress. So there may be things that you may encounter that is completely out of your control. So you really need to learn to adapt to the situation, right? So again, being confined to our homes, and moving from face-to-face instruction to now digital instruction. Again, completely out of your control, but it's really up to you in terms of how you respond to it. And so if you're experiencing this, really navigate through how you can best respond to it. So if you can't remove the source of stress, you can still determine how you respond to it. So just like we mentioned in the previous slide, you may be encountering something that's out of your control. For example, students have discussed that during this unique kind of transition from face-to-face instruction to now digital instruction, that instructors are no longer, holding lectures. And so a lot of the material that they're posting are assignments. Therefore, it's really up to the students to get the work done in a timely manner. And with remote instruction, it's very based, which makes the student kind of hold themselves accountable. You don't have the professor or peers right there during class to remind you of these assignments. And so it's really up to you how you respond to your professor's new way of facilitating their class, now that we're on going through this remotely. So a way to respond could be to check your email, throughout the day, or checking Blackboard, or even reaching out to your professor to express any questions or concerns that you may have about the class to mitigate that level of stress for yourself. So some tips and tricks to managing your stress is to get organized. And so a way of doing this, a way of getting organized and really managing your stress is, whether it's through a planner or using your phone, but just holding you accountable and being able to keep track of those big deadlines or those assignments or those times that you need to sit down and study. For myself, I'm all about my planner. And so for me, it helps me to write down those big tasks so I can highlight or color code for my classes. But either way, writing it down in my planner helps me retain that information. So it helps me remember those big deadlines that I have coming up. If you're somebody that's more technologically inclined and prefer to use your phone, that's great too. So your phone can give you alerts and updates on, what's to come. So whatever method you prefer, whether it's your phone to keep you organized or a planner, just stay consistent with it. Another tip to kind of mitigate stress is to be consistent, especially during this unique time of digital learning. So really establishing a routine, a daily routine, and ensuring that you're getting the work that you need to get done, but also allowing yourself enough time to study, whether it's for your tests or exams, or allowing yourself enough time to get your work done. So oftentimes I'll tell students, if math is your hardest subject and you were taking math, you had a face-to-face class for math Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Now that we've gone remote, ensure or kind of hold yourself accountable to get that work done still on the same days that you would have math during the same time. So getting up and making sure you have that time to study for math Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. So really being consistent and really establishing a game plan for you to ensure that you're getting your work done. So just being consistent. Another tip, and this is kind of like a give me, but staying healthy and being mindful of just maintaining a healthy life balance or well-being. And so that includes getting enough rest and sleep each night. So if that means getting 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep each night, that'll help mitigate the stress that you're experiencing. Also, eating nutritional foods is also very important, and also exercising regularly. As I mentioned before, we're all confined to our homes right now, so really ensuring that you're going outside, getting some fresh air, enjoying the warmer weather and the sunshine. So if you can go and take a walk, get some exercise in, or just get some fresh air to help maintain that healthy balance. And then finally, for our fourth tip, we're all about persevering. And so during this unique time, remind yourself of the big picture. And so as a student, think about why you entered college in the first place. It was to graduate with your degree, get a job that you have an interest in, right? And so don't forget about that when times get really rough, especially right now. Be sure to focus on small and attainable goals. So the big goal here is to graduate from college, but the smaller attainable goals may be passing all your classes this semester, or working to bring up your GPA, or passing all your final exams. Those could be small attainable goals right now, but the overarching goal is to graduate in a timely manner. Also, don't let setbacks keep you down. Despite whatever's going on right now and increasing your stress level, don't give up. Don't let those setbacks keep you down, but rather just continue to move forward. And so towards the end of this presentation today, I'll have a link for the app called Calm. And so this is a really cool app, and they're offering free resources. And so you can, there's a multitude of different resources on this webpage, but you can listen to different sounds, whether it's rain falling or, sounds that you hear in the rainforest, to kind of maintain that particular or to lower your stress level. Oftentimes I'll have calm on in the background as I work. And so it's really just allows me to stay focused and allow me to also concentrate on my work while having this calm kind of sound circulating the room. All right, so for our group activity, go ahead and if you want to shout out, raise your hand, or include in the comments three good things that have happened to you in the last 24 hours. And what this activity really emphasizes is just thinking positive. And this activity is part of a larger activity that we as academic coaches introduce to our students. And so it's a two-page handout, which again, I'll give you the link later on in the presentation, but it kind of has a series of questions that allow you to think positive despite being in a stressful time. And so certainly, if you're interested in learning more about this handout or talking with an academic coach, we can certainly set up an appointment and go through this handout together and kind of discuss ways in which you can think positively despite being stressed. So one kind of good thing that happened to me in the last 24 hours is being able to relax yesterday evening and just watch my favorite show. Despite it being a kind of busy time right now in the semester, just being able to just relax and focus on my favorite show last night was a good thing that happened to me within the last 24 hours. All right, so as promised, here are a number of different links to some resources and items that I mentioned throughout the workshop today. So for the first link is the Thinking Positive handout. So this is the hyperlink. Once you access the handout, it's free to use for you, but you can also print it out if you'd like. And if you'd like to make an appointment with an academic coach to kind of go over this handout, you certainly can do that as well. The second link here is a link to the TRC resources page where we have a number of different handouts relating to strategies such as time management, note-taking, stress management, how to present, just a multitude of different strategies and tips and tricks that we share as academic coaches. So know that these resources are here for you. And again, they are printable resources. The third link is to the UTSA counseling services. So if that's something that you would like to get more information about, the link is right there for to use. And then finally, the link to the Calm application where there's free resources. You can access those free resources using this link. All right, so this kind of wraps up our workshop today. Be sure to connect with us on social media, and if you're interested in upcoming workshops or scheduling an appointment with an academic coach, here's our information here. You can certainly call us, you can email us, you can fill out a interest form. There's a multitude of ways in which you can reach out to us. Also, there's one more Expert Learner Series workshop scheduled for later on in the month, and that's on April 22nd, and that's how to prepare for finals. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can certainly register. However, registration isn't required, but we certainly do ask that you do register. And more information on how to register and the time in which they'll be facilitating that workshop is on the lower half of the flyer. So if that's of interest to you, definitely check it out. All right, and if you lived on campus at some point this past semester, know that there are academic peer coaches as well as academic coaches. These peer coaches are students just like you who are trained to become academic coaches. And so you can connect with them on social media. You can scan the QR code to learn more information about this resource for students. All right, and finally, if you could please complete the evaluations by scanning the QR code or typing in this URL. I would greatly appreciate your feedback, your constructive feedback. Let us know how you enjoyed this presentation today. Tell me how I was doing. So the type of workshop this was the Expert Learner Series. The topic was how to manage stress, and the presenter was me, Chelsea. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us, again, connect with us on social media. But with that, enjoy the rest of the semester and take care.